Today's video is going to be geared towards those looking to build long-term sustainable wealth through investing in dividend stocks. And again, not all dividend stocks are built the same. And today's video specifically, we're going to be looking at 6 stocks that I consider buy and hold forever stocks. Again, I'm not looking for the next moonshot. I'm looking for high quality businesses that are cash flowing. Each of these 6 companies are not just high quality, but they've been through various economic cycles. They've been through recessions. They've been through high inflation periods, high interest rates, and they continue to climb higher and higher and come out on top. Now, of course, you're always going to want to monitor all of your positions. You want a thesis for why you're entering any position, whether it's a dividend stock or not, because if that thesis changes, that's what can tell you to exit a position. So again, not everything is a forever stock. So let's jump right into today's video, beginning with stock number 1, which is going to be one of my favorites and one of the longest held positions within my portfolio, which is going to be AbbVie, stock ticker ABBV. And again, when it comes to AbbVie, they were actually spun off of Abbott Labs, and Abbott Labs is a dividend king. So technically, AbbVie is also a dividend king. When it comes to AbbVie, at the start of 2013, they were officially spun off from Abbott Labs and became their own public company, and they have continued that dividend streak to this day. And despite the Humira cliff fears, they're actually a thriving business. When it comes to the business, they have a market cap of $390 billion roughly, and over the past 5 years, shares of AbbVie have increased 120%. And when it comes to looking at long-term dividend stocks, and really any type of company, growth or dividend stock, free cash flow is going to be key. Why? Because free cash flow is how debt is paid. Free cash flow is where dividends are paid from. Free cash flow is where buybacks are paid from, strategic acquisitions, and so much more. So when we look here at this fiscal AI chart, you can see free cash flow in orange. Operating cash flow is in blue. Both very important. And over the trailing 12 months, the company has generated operating cash flow of roughly $21 billion. Free cash flow of nearly $20 billion. And we're going to circle back to those figures here in a second, but let's first look at the dividend. When it comes to AbbVie, they currently pay an annual dividend of $6.92 per share, which equates to a dividend yield of 3.1%. They have a 5-year dividend growth rate of roughly 7% and 12 consecutive years of dividend growth as their own public company. So again, when assessing the safety, reliability, and growth potential of a dividend, it's very key to hone in on free cash flow, because after all, that's where dividends are paid from. Looking here at this chart, you could see a few different things. Again, orange is free cash flow, blue represents the dividends paid, and the purple line represents the free cash flow payout ratio, something we prefer to see below 65%, which is the case for AbbVie. Over the past few years, AbbVie has been investing a little more heavily, which has negatively impacted their free cash flow. That's something I expect to even out over the course of the next few years moving forward, and that is going to have a positive impact on their free cash flow payout ratio. Again, AbbVie isn't just a pharma stock. They're a business no longer focused on just one drug. They have diversified the business, no longer one trick pony. They're a thriving business, one I want to own in my portfolio today and for years to come. And that's going to lead us to stock number 2, which is going to be Broadcom, stock ticker AVGO. And when it comes to Broadcom, most people view them as an AI growth stock. But in reality, I view them, going back over the past decade, as one of the most underrated dividend growth stocks on the market today. This is a company that prints cash. They have both a semiconductor segment of the business as well as a thriving software side of the business, which is hard for a lot of companies to say this day. When it comes to Broadcom, the company currently has a market cap of $1.6 trillion, and over the past 5 years, get this, an impressive 610% growth, with the majority of that coming in just the past few years alone. When it comes to AI stocks in general, there's plenty of concern with investors out there. They may have already missed their opportunity, or they believe that we're in an AI bubble, and what I do is I point them to the results. Are valuations going up without results going up? That's not the case when it comes to Broadcom. And in fact, we got a key earnings report from that of Taiwan Semiconductor, the largest AI chip manufacturer in the globe, which didn't show a slowing of AI production. In fact, AI spending might only be increasing. And who is the largest manufacturer for the likes of Broadcom? It's Taiwan Semi. Broadcom is a company that has been a cash flow machine. And when you look here at this chart, this is one of the most beautiful charts you will see as an investor. Steady growth up and to the right. And over the trailing 12 months, the company has generated operating cash flow of nearly $28 billion and free cash flow of nearly $27 billion. Growing free cash flow helps fund a fast-growing dividend. Speaking of that dividend, the company currently pays an annual dividend of $2.60 per share, which equates to a dividend yield of 0.8%. However, this has been a strong dividend growth company with a 5-year dividend growth rate of roughly 13% and 15 consecutive years of dividend growth. The crazy part is some of you may look at those dividend stats right there and say, Mark, this is a company with a dividend yield of less than 1%. And you would be correct, but I have a couple of comments. The dividend yield is just one part of the total return strategy when it comes to dividend stocks. Dividend stocks are made up of the dividend income plus the share price appreciation. And when it comes to Broadcom, this is a company that actually used to have a dividend yield that was above 3.5%. That's actually when I first started accumulating shares of this high quality business. But the dividend yield has an inverse relationship to share price. And as we saw just a second ago, the share price is up over 60% over the course of the past 5 years. The dividend's growing strong, but not that strong. So again, when it comes to assessing the safety of a dividend and the reliability, we want to not only look at free cash flow, but look at the free cash flow payout ratio. And as you can see here, the company has a free cash flow payout ratio of just 41%, making this dividend even safer than that of AbbVie. This is a company that offers both growth potential from a share price appreciation perspective, as well as strong dividend growth. And before we move on to stock number 3, let me take a moment to thank today's video sponsor, which is the Motley Fool. The Motley Fool has a ton of great resources and products available for investors of all different levels. And right now, if you go to fool.com/Mark, you could check out their 10 best stocks to buy right now. And that's going to bring us to forever dividend stock number 3, which is going to be Prologis, stock ticker PLD. Prologis is going to be our resident REIT on our list, and one of my favorite REITs in general. The company has a large presence in logistics and is a huge player in the e-commerce space. Their largest tenant happens to be Amazon.com. When it comes to Prologis, they currently have a market cap of $121 billion, and over the past 5 years, shares are up 23%. But that's just the share price appreciation. Again, just one part of the dividend strategy equation. In fact, here's a look at the 5-year total return, which is actually over 40%. Not too shabby for an old REIT. Prologis is a direct play on the growth in e-commerce. And if there's one thing that we can all agree on, for those of you watching this video, is the fact that e-commerce isn't shrinking, it's only getting bigger. But we're not just going to stop there. Prologis is also expanding its footprint when it comes to data center, which is a huge supply chain restraint in the world of AI. So when it comes back to REITs specifically, how we look at them is a little different than traditional stocks in the fact that we look at what's called FFO or AFFO. And this chart you can see on your screen here is showing core FFO, showing strong and steady growth for Prologis, which is what we like to see. In terms of the dividend, the company currently pays an annual dividend of $4.04 per share, which equates to a dividend yield of 3.1%. In addition to that solid yield, you get a 5-year dividend growth rate of 12% and 12 consecutive years of dividend growth. The crazy thing is the fact that when it comes to REITs, they're required to pay out at least 90% of their taxable income back to shareholders in the form of dividends. So for that reason, you typically don't find REITs that are also dividend growth stocks. Prologis bucks that trend. So if you're looking to increase or get some exposure to the real estate sector, Prologis is going to be the first REIT you want to take a close look at to adding to your portfolio. And that's going to bring us to our 4th dividend stock on today's list, which is going to be the Home Depot. The Home Depot, as we know, is the largest home improvement retailer around the globe today. And in many ways, investors view them as another real estate play. Over the past handful of years, we have dealt with high interest rates and rising home equity, which early during the pandemic resulted in a home improvement boom. And since then, we have had a few light years in terms of home improvement. But with interest rates expected to come down over the course of the next 12 to 24 months, that should allow us to see another increase in home improvements yet again. When it comes to Home Depot, the company currently has a market cap of $370 billion, and over the past 5 years, shares are up 40%. However, from a total return perspective, that is closer to 60% over that same 5-year period. Again, when it comes to Home Depot, they're more of a traditional stock, not a REIT like we just looked at with Prologis. So when we're assessing not only the safety and reliability, but also the forward growth potential of a dividend, we need to focus on the free cash flow. Looking here at this fiscal AI chart, you can see both free cash flow as well as operating free cash flow. And over the trailing 12 months, Home Depot has generated operating cash flow of $18 billion and free cash flow of nearly $14 billion. And again, we'll circle back to that chart here in a second, but let's first look at the dividend, where we can see the company currently pays an annual dividend of $9.20 per year, which equates to a dividend yield of 2.5%. The company has a 5-year dividend growth rate of 9% and 16 consecutive years of dividend growth. So again, when it comes to assessing the safety of a dividend, dividends aren't paid from net income, dividends are paid from free cash flow. So the metric I tend to focus on is free cash flow payout ratio, which shows us of all of the free cash flow that we generate, how much of it is being taken up by the dividend. Looking here at this fiscal AI chart, we can see a few different things. You could see the company's free cash flow, the dividends they've paid out on an annual basis, and their free cash flow payout ratio, something we prefer to see below 65%. But again, the company is expected to increase their free cash flow in the coming years, which is going to lower their free cash flow payout ratio. Now, while the company does in fact have a higher free cash flow than we're accustomed to, it is very sustainable for a company of their size and maturation, especially with their level of ROIC, or return on invested capital. This is a company that's going to continue to grow their dividend at a strong clip, especially as free cash flow gets growing again. Now let's turn to dividend stock number 5, which is going to be Walmart, stock ticker WMT. And of all of the stocks that we're going to look at today, this could probably be viewed as one of the safest because of not only what they sell, it's a consumer staple, but they're also the largest grocer. And that consistency has what allowed this company to pay a dividend for more than 50 consecutive years, making them a dividend king. When it comes to Walmart, the company currently has a market cap of $935 billion, and over the past 5 years, shares are up 155%. The crazy thing about Walmart is when we talk about a safe and consistent company, many attribute that to a consistent and slow-moving stock. But that's seemingly not been the case when it comes to Walmart. Because if you look at their chart over the past 12 months, this is a company whose share price alone is up over 20%. Here's a look at that consistency I'm talking about. Revenues slowly climbing each and every year. One of the initiatives of this current management team for Walmart has been to take Amazon on head on, not only increasing online sales, but also increasing delivery sales as well. Looking here, you can see the company's operating cash flow growing pretty consistently, but its free cash flow has been a little bit more bumpy. But a lot of that has to do with the investments the company's been making over the past few years on the digital side of things. Turning our attention now to the dividend, where you can see the company pays an annual dividend of 94 cents per share, which equates to a dividend yield just shy of 1%. Over the past 5 years, the company has a 5-year dividend growth rate of 5.5%, and as I mentioned, a dividend king with 52 consecutive years of dividend growth. By now, you could probably see that I'm not someone that chases dividend yield. In fact, I care more about dividend growth and growing free cash flow when investing. To build long-term sustainable wealth, you don't want to get caught in yield traps. So again, when assessing the health of the dividend, we want to focus on both free cash flow and that payout ratio. And looking at this chart here, you can see that over the trailing 12 months, we have paid $7.3 billion. And when I say we, I mean Walmart. And it has a very low payout ratio, a free cash flow payout ratio, I should say, of less than 50%. Walmart is leaning into their high margin advertising as well as data business and looking to grow their presence from both online sales as well as delivery, taking on Amazon head on. And now we're going to move on to dividend stock number 6, which is going to be Alphabet, stock ticker GOOGL. And I would like to say that I saved the best for last. And again, this is not a company that's going to knock your socks off in terms of dividend yield. In fact, it's more focused on growth. And the dividend, no one's investing in this company for the dividend, but you get the growth side of things. It's the best of both worlds. When it comes to Alphabet, the company currently has a market cap of $4 trillion. And over the past 5 years, shares are up roughly 260%. The stock performance of Alphabet has been simply amazing, and it happens to be the largest single stock position inside of my portfolio. And if you're interested in tracking all of the stocks in my portfolio, what I'm buying, what I'm selling, and my option plays, then consider joining my Discord community, the Stock Investor's Edge. You can check out that link down in the description below. Now, getting back to Alphabet, the thing that I continually talk about is the fact that they're a well-diversified business. They dominate search with both Google as well as YouTube, the two largest search engines in the world today. But talking about YouTube from a streaming perspective, they continue to make huge headway. The company has cloud, AI, Waymo, and so much more. What this does is it turns into consistent revenue growth that looks like this. And over the trailing 12 months, the company has reached $385 billion, with operating profits sitting at a record $228 billion. And here's a look at the company's free cash flow and operating cash flow over the years. Over the trailing 12 months, the company has generated operating cash flow of roughly $150 billion, which has allowed them to spend heavily on AI the past few years and still generate free cash flow of roughly $73.5 billion. This is exactly what happens to businesses, is they find themselves generating so much in cash flow. And no, it doesn't slow down their spending like many think. This is a company that is spending more today than they ever have, but they're still generating so much more in cash flow from operations that it allows them to pay back a portion to its shareholders. So again, when it comes to the dividend, not something that's going to knock your socks off, but the company pays an annual dividend of 84 cents per share, which yields a very low 0.25%. And again, it's only been a year. This is a company that just started paying its first dividend back in April of 2024. So again, looking there, not a big yield. You are not investing in Alphabet for the dividend. It's more like thought of as maybe the icing on the cake. But as this company continues to generate more and more cash flow, this is what I like to think of as a dividend aristocrat in training. This is a company that is looking to the likes of Meta, looking to the likes of Microsoft, taking a very similar path. And again, Meta is a newer dividend payer as well, but these are going to be companies that are generating huge amounts of free cash flow, which is going to allow them to grow their dividend at a healthy clip. And again, a few seconds ago, we looked at the strong free cash flow and operating cash flow. So to no surprise, when you look at the free cash flow payout ratio, it's very low at just 13.5%. So again, when it comes to Alphabet, although it can be considered a dividend stock, you're really investing in it for the growth. But I'm looking out over the course of the next decade plus. This snowball that's going to take place here with the amount of dividend growth you're going to see will look very different 10 years from now. So there we just looked at 6 very different companies. In the comments section down below, let me know which of these 6 stocks do you agree with, which don't you agree with, and which would you add to this particular list? What are some stocks that you consider buy and hold forever dividend stocks? Thanks again for watching. If you found any value, please show your appreciation. It really helps the growth of the channel by simply clicking that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.